How's it going, everybody? I hope you're having a great day. Today, we're taking a look at how I was able to get over 42,000 capital peak points in this last raid weekend, and I even got 2 one-shots. So we're going to go through the replays. The 2 one-shots are in the beginning of the video if you want to stick around and take a look. So we are going up against the Dragon Cliffs. It is a lower level one. They don't have the 2 back dragon outposts activated, so we are going to be doing our standard approach, which is coming from this right-hand side on the default layout. And then we get a little bit lucky where this dragon is not able to get off any of its breath abilities on our big pack of miners. So, got our frost spell in this section of the base, hoping that this dragon inches its way forward, just barely gets into the frost spell. So once we start to land on some of these high hit point buildings, that one dragon up top, and now the second one, both in the frost spell, so they will not be getting off any more breath abilities if our miners are being fast enough and speeding through the base. So our second frost spell is on this left hand side. Can run into some issues depending on how much hit points your miners have. This dragon usually gets off at least 1 breath, but we get a very nice split here. We have 2 miners that are actually going into this quadrant, and they will be able to take out this very pesky bomb tower with their death damage. So get super lucky there, that miner there, boom, blows up, takes out the bomb tower. So now there's pretty much nothing left besides the super dragons, obviously, that can do their breath abilities, but we have enough miners in our group that they should be able to take out all of the defenses in time before they get splashed down by these dragons. So Dragon Cliffs is one of the best districts to attack with the super miners because they continually drop the aggro of the dragons. So then if there's any kind of distance in between the buildings, the super dragons have pretty much nowhere to go. I'll also be showing one of the other Dragon Cliffs I attacked in this video in a couple minutes here on just a small variation of the default layout and how it turns out vastly different. So definitely use this strategy to one-shot the default layouts of the Dragon Cliffs. If it's anything different, probably not the best idea. You'd have to get pretty lucky, but we do get the one-shot and even have a couple miners left over. So now we're taking a look at the other one-shot. Again, this is a little bit underdeveloped. They don't quite have the blast bow, so since they don't have that blast bow, we can actually start our miners in a different area. We've got our frost spells going down, and now we can really try and path our miners into this middle section of the base. And then we brought in a giant and a skeleton barrel to take out some of these point defenses on this right-hand side of the base. They will eventually be taken out by the multi-mortar, but I did think that it would get a little bit more value than one of the miners, because we just barely got a Golem quarry one-shot in the last video. So now we are getting down to the nail-biter moment of how many times do our miners get hit by the rocket artilleries. Some of them got hit by one of them, not too bad. So now we have to see, do we get any lucky splits? No splits, so unfortunately no miners go over to the right-hand side to take out the blast bell. Very unfortunate. Now we see, do we get lucky? Do we get any splits on this left-hand side? Do any split to the blast bow? No, so kind of unlucky in that sense. Sometimes you can get lucky and 1 or 2 will split off to the blast bow and start to take out this section on the right-hand side. But we will take a look at this left-hand side. Since they're all grouped up together, we can speed things along. They're just popping up, melting the defenses, going back down underground. Now we have to see, do we have enough juice to take out this crusher before it fires off a shot? Not sure, couldn't really tell. I think one of the miners died and then the explosion damage took out the crusher. So now we have to see how many shots of the blast bow can we dodge. Get hit by a couple, not the greatest. Got a nice explosion damage there, so we only have a handful of miners left. As we can see here, we have, I think, 3 left. 1, 2, 3. So pretty close, but we do get the one shot. Get all, what was that, 6,000 or 8,950 points? That is crazy. So here is a little bit more developed of the Dragon Cliffs, and we are seeing that they have moved just a couple of walls. They moved like 1 defense around, I think. Pretty much the exact same, but think it is the higher level super dragons, I believe. And we're getting really bad luck here with this super dragon up in this first compartment. It got a lot of hits off, so probably should have frosted that section of the base. Now, as we can see, they're going into the high hit point buildings, and we don't even have enough miners left to really start taking them out. And so this is not looking good. We are getting destroyed by this bomb tower, and all of our miners are dead, just like that. So probably should have frosted that first area. So lesson learned. Unfortunately, with that though, we no longer have a possibility to go for super high amounts of points, since we lost probably 2,000 or 3,000 points going for that. So now we are going up against the Golem quarry again, default layout, but a little bit higher defenses for this clan that we went up against. So again, we're trying to get lucky. How many rock artilleries do we get hit with? Got hit with one with this one. This miner's just barely survived. And then we have all of our miners going over to the right hand side, so that is not great either, because we do not have this blast bow frosted up, and we ideally want to directly target it if possible. So we get a lot of chip damage off, so our miners are not doing it that great, but they still have cleared out a good portion of the base. Get hit with the zap trap, get hit with the rock artillery. They do dodge that last shot, which is nice. And then we do have enough to finally get through that last rock artillery, but there's just a lot of point defenses on this left-hand kind of pocketed area of the base, so not enough to get through, but we do still get 7,700 points, so I will take it. Now next up, we are kind of experimenting. We tried to take out the Goblin mines with this right-hand side, but it seems like the miners get stalled out on this section on the right-hand side very, very easily, so we are sending them all in on this left-hand side. We're gonna see how it works. See if the Goblin mines can be taken out, you know, with any kind of point value that is, I would say, minimally required. You know, if you get at least 6,000, it's decent, but if you get less than that, it's not that great of a district to attack with the spam miner attack strategy, because you can very easily hit a Dragon Cliffs, Golem Quarry, Balloon Lagoon, and you can usually get at least 6,000, sometimes even 7,000 from that first attack. So there's even that possibility of one-shotting the district if you are lucky enough. So take a look here. So far we're not getting a whole lot of points. Seems like mostly trash that we cleared out on that side of the base. Now we're starting to get into some of these higher point value defenses. But as we see here, we get a pretty bad split where a lot of them go into this section. I was really hoping to come in from this top side, so to be able to hopefully take out this Goblin launcher a little bit better. So all of those miners died. Now we only have a handful left on this top side. We'll speed through here. They're just barely hanging on to life. It does take out that Spirit Thrower, but we are fallen. And we actually run out of time before that death damage goes off. So got 6,220. Not bad, but there are better bases to attack. So going in with the final attack, right? Yeah, final attack on the Balloon Lagoon. Going in from this right-hand side. Not quite the default layout. They have moved some of the Inferno Towers around from this top section, so don't get as much value. I think we do get clipped by that one rocket artillery hit on a few of the miners. A little bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. All the miners are sticking together, so we should be doing pretty good. Got this other rock artillery frosted up, and then just in case our miners get to the backside, we have the other rock artillery under the frost spell as well. So definitely the best thing you can do is get the frost spells over as many defenses as possible. Ideally as many splash target defenses as possible. So got one miner on this left hand side. Tried to reset the Inferno Tower with the zap spell, but the death damage didn't quite take it out. So now we are watching the miners trying to dodge this rock artillery hit. They all go underground, and do they take it out before another hit goes off? They do. Very nice. So they are still sticking together, which is nice. Now we see there is a little bit of a split on this left-hand side. Get a pretty big hit off from the Crusher. Kind of unfortunate. So the biggest threats to your miners, in my opinion, are definitely the bomb towers. They tend to always deal their death damage on all of your miners if you're not careful. Then the crushers will typically get off at least one hit, so those tend to hurt. And then, surprisingly enough, the Teslas, the Mega Teslas, actually do quite a bit of damage, and they hit 2 of the miners at the same time, so it's pretty devastating. As we see, the attack is wrapping up here. Got a few more explosions that we can try and get to take out a handful of defenses. Do just barely get that bomb tower on the bottom side of the base. And last but not least, death damage for the Inferno Tower goes off. We get 6,825 points from this attack. So, wish I could have gotten more. Wish I couldn't have failed on those other 2 attacks. But we did get 2 one-shots, which I think is pretty awesome. So, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you found any of this helpful. And if you want to help support the channel. And there are a couple more videos on the screen if you want to keep on watching. Until next time, take care.